What's good, everyone? This is X and I'm doing an analysis video for the gameplay that came out for Uncharted 4 at PSX on December 6th, 2014. Yes, finally happened. We finally got the gameplay we've been waiting for, and I am happy. And I am not disappointed in the least. It looks amazing. In this analysis, I'm just going to be talking about the history and the story of Uncharted 4. Of course, nobody actually knows what's going to happen in the game, but on the history side of it and all the pirates and stuff, I got some information, and I also got pretty much a lot of confirmation for the things I speculated back in June. Also, if you hear loud, repetitive beeping in the background, it's because there's snow removal outside, even though it's midnight. Canada has its problems. Anyway. So let's just jump into this analysis. Alright, so 4 minutes into the gameplay video, Nathan finds a skeleton with a satchel. Inside of this satchel, there is a letter dated to March 20th, 1808. The letter reads, "Our navigator we lost to sharks, our grommet to hunger. Today our captain, whilst exploring, was struck by a serpent and has presently succumbed to fever derangement. Any time we tend to his puncture, he lashes out. Yet again our journey is misruled by indignity and loss. Now Hayes and I are quarreling. He regards this place as an island of emptiness, and its treasures a mere tale of oriental hyperbole. But he is vexed with fear. I will pursue this remnant of Captain Avery's fortune alone if I must." Alright, so this letter tells us two different things. The first thing that it tells us is that the letter itself is written by a British sailor, because the word grommet, where it says that they lost their grommet to hunger, is a name that British seamen gave to an apprentice sailor or ship's boy. The second thing that this letter tells us is that this dead guy was looking for Captain Avery's fortune, or in other words, Henry Avery's fortune, and that confirms my speculations from June. My speculations were that Nathan Drake is going off the coast of Madagascar to search for Henry Avery's fortune. And although this doesn't directly confirm that Nathan Drake is looking for Henry Avery's treasure, it does confirm that this dead guy was looking for it. And if Drake is in the exact same spot that this guy was looking for it, I'm pretty sure Nathan Drake is looking for the exact same thing. On the back of this letter is a map of what I'm guessing is St. Mary's Island, but I am not exactly sure. I checked the Google map of it and it doesn't quite look the same, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what the back actually is. Alright, so let's take a look at Nathan Drake's journal. We're going to start off on the left side, and as you can see on the top left side there is a drawing of Sir Francis Drake, which is pretty obvious enough. But the rest of the page has actually nothing to do with Sir Francis Drake and actually has to do with Thomas Tew. And so you can see Thomas Tew's flag in the top right with the arm and sword. At the very bottom you could see his ship called the Amity. You could see his nickname, which is the Rhode Island Pirate, and also a drawing of Rhode Island itself. But what's most interesting is the little skeleton at the bottom left with the little blurb, and also the years he was born and the years he was active as a pirate. So you can see that he was born in 1640 and then apparently died in 1695, but the 1695 is crossed out. And then below that, it shows the years he was active as a pirate, and it says 1692 to 1695, with the 1695 underlined with a question mark and also pointing towards the year he died. And so basically what I'm getting from this is that Naughty Dog is unsure of when Thomas Tew actually died, and that's why at the very bottom, in the little blurb next to the skeleton, it says, "Didn't he die in the attack with Avery?" I'm going to get into this later on in the commentary when I get to the point where Thomas Tew and Henry Avery actually meet. But who exactly is Thomas Tew? Thomas Tew, also known as the Rhode Island Pirate, was a 17th century English privateer who turned into a pirate. So in 1692, Thomas Tew obtained a letter of marque from the governor of Bermuda. A letter of marque, by the way, is a government license authorizing a person, also known as a privateer, to attack and capture enemy vessels and bring them before admiralty courts for condemnation and sale. Though, of course, pirates didn't really care about the admiralty courts, they just wanted to attack and capture enemy vessels. And so various Bermudian backers provided him with a vessel. the 70-ton sloop Amity, armed with 8 guns and crewed by 46 officers and men. He and another captain obtained a privateer's commission from the Lieutenant Governor of Bermuda to destroy a French factory off the coast of West Africa. But, not long out of Bermuda, Tew announced his intention of turning to piracy, asking the crew for their support since he could not enforce the illegal scheme without their consent. Tew's crew reportedly answered with the shout, "A gold chain or a wooden leg, we'll stand with you." Tew reached the Red Sea and ran down a large ship en route from India to the Ottoman Empire sometime in late 1693. Tew's pirates helped themselves to the ship's rich treasure worth 100,000 pounds in gold and silver alone, not counting the value of the ivory, spices, gemstones, and silk taken. Tew's men afterwards shared out between 1,200 pounds and 3,000 pounds per man, and Tew himself claimed about 8,000 pounds. Tew urged his filibusters to hunt down and rob the other ships in the Indian convoy, but yielded to the opposition of the quartermaster. He set course back to the Cape of Good Hope, stopping at the island of St. Mary's on Madagascar to careen, which, by the way, careening is the practice of beaching a vessel at a high tide, and this is usually done in order to expose one side or another of the ship's hull for maintenance and repairs below the waterline when the tide goes out. According to the Forbes list of wealthiest pirates of all time, Tew actually comes in 3rd place. He made $102 million US just from robbing this one large ship. Tew reached Newport, Rhode Island in April 1694. Benjamin Fletcher, Royal Governor of Province of New York, became good friends with Tew and his family. And I'm going to be talking about Benjamin Fletcher a little more later on, but for now I'm just going to keep reading about Thomas Tew. In November 1694, Tew bought a new letter of marque from Fletcher and set out for another pirate cruise. His crew numbered 30 to 40 men at departure this time. However, by the time he reached Madagascar, he apparently increased his force to 50 or 60 men. Arriving at the Mandab Strait at the mouth of the Red Sea in August 1695, Tew found several other pirates hoping to duplicate his prior success, including Henry Every in the powerful armed warship Fancy. Tew and the other pirate captains decided to sail in concert. So at this point, the huge battle between the 6-ship flotilla and the 25-ship Mughal convoy happened, which I talked about in my other analysis. And this is where Tew was apparently killed in battle, reportedly disemboweled by a cannon shot, though his final resting place is unknown. So this is probably where Naughty Dog is going to bring in the factor whether or not Thomas Tew actually died at that battle or not. Alright, so now let's talk about Benjamin Fletcher. So he was a colonel in the English Royal Army. He became governor in August 1692 and also received a 2-year appointment as the governor of Pennsylvania and commander of the Connecticut, Rhode Island, and New Jersey militias. In return for the privateering commission, Tew gave the governor a promissory note of 300 pounds to ensure that he did nothing illegal, which of course is bullshit because he went to the Red Sea and captured that Arab ship, which got him the $102 million that I told you about. So the fact that Fletcher and others like him consorted with pirates, it was not a secret. Fletcher even invited Tew to dine with his family and accepted a gold watch from the pirate. When Edward Coates, another pirate, wished to bring his plundered goods into New York, Fletcher wanted 700 pounds. Instead, Coates gave him the entire ship, which Fletcher sold for 800 pounds. When the governor received a reprimand for selling letters of marque to pirates, he wrote, "It may be my unhappiness, but not my crime if they turn pirates." So basically, he was trying to act as if the pirates he was selling letters of marque to, he thought as if they were still privateers and not actually pirates. Which, of course, is also bullshit, because his wife and daughters wore silk gowns and jewelry Tew acquired from his attack on ships of the Mogul of India. So, of course, this Benjamin Fletcher, he's a corrupt governor and was just selling letters of marques to pirates for profit. Alright, so moving on to the right page of Nathan Drake's journal, we have 3 flags, a note that says "Call Elena" and her calling card pin, and on the very bottom there is some Latin. Alright, so let's start at the very top. So next to the flag that seems to be 2 dolphins, it says "Maze" and "Want." So Mays is for William Mays and Want is for Richard Want. Both are pirate captains who were alongside Thomas Tew and Henry Every in the great battle that I spoke of earlier. So, I couldn't really find anything on Richard Want, but I did find some interesting stuff on William Mays. Alright, so Captain William Mays was born in Newport, Rhode Island in the mid to late 1660s and began his career in 1689. He joined Captain William Kidd aboard Kidd's Blessed William during the 9 Years' War and sailed to the Caribbean to attack the French. During this voyage with Kidd, the crew decided to mutiny as Kidd was more interested in furthering his own reputation as a patriot than lining his sailors' pockets. The crew stole Kidd's Blessed William along with 2,000 pounds sterling while Kidd was on shore on Antigua in February 1690. The crew elected William Mays to be their captain. In July 1693, Captain Mays procured a privateering commission, which, by the way, is a letter of marque, from the governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony to attack French slave stations off Western Africa. He set sail with his new sloop, the 16-gun, 220-ton Pearl. It was widely rumored that he was really on his way to Madagascar to meet with the notorious Captain Tew of his home port. Again, records get murky until July 1695 when Mays, Tew, and Every worked together to plunder the Gunsway. By the way, the Gunsway is the Ganj-e-Sawai, which is the biggest ship from that big fleet of the giant battle. Unfortunately for Mays, Every made off with the loot by slipping his anchor chain in the middle of the night. Oh, Every. Mays stayed in the Indian Ocean until early 1696. He looted at least 3 more of the Moguls' pilgrim ships before sailing for New York with approximately 200,000 pounds sterling in loot, his own share worth about 7,000 pounds. Rumors say he spent time going back and forth from New York and Newport trading pirated wares for English goods, then sailing to St. Mary's to trade with the pirates. So that is one account of how Henry Every betrayed his fellow companions, and there are still more to go. And so while all the 6 pirate captains were waiting for the convoy to pass, it actually passed by them during the night and they didn't realize, so they had to go chase it. And so as they're chasing it, the Dolphin, which is Richard Want's ship, proved to be far too slow, lagging behind the rest of the pirate ships, so it was burned and the crew joined Every on the Fancy. The Amity, which was Thomas Tew's ship, and Susanna, which is Thomas Wake's ship, also proved to be poor ships. The Amity fell behind and never again rejoined the pirate squadron, and again, Captain Tew being apparently killed, and while the straggling Susanna eventually rejoined the group days later. After the battle, and with all the loot intact, Avery and his men did not even want to share all the loot with all the other pirates, so they tricked them. They loaded their holds with loot and arranged to meet and divide it, but they just took off instead. And none of the other pirate captains had any chance of catching up with the Speedy Fancy, since it was a privateer and thus the fastest and also the biggest. Alright, so Henry Every's a douchebag. Not a surprise, he's a pirate. So the other captains should have seen it coming, because there's no honor among thieves. So yeah, let's move on to the rest of the journal. Below that dolphin flag is another flag which looks like 2 swords with a scale in the middle. By the way, out of like the 3 flags, I couldn't find any of them online, so if any of you do find it, be sure to write about that in the comments, because I literally can't find them anywhere. But anyways, under the second flag, it's kind of hard to see, but it says Baldridge. And I was searching for it, and I found who it was. It is Adam Baldridge. Adam Baldridge was an English pirate and one of the early founders of the pirate settlements in Madagascar. Fleeing from Jamaica after being charged with murder, Baldridge sailed to Madagascar and, by 1685, had established a base of operations on the island of St. Mary's. Baldridge reportedly lived a luxurious and extravagant life on the island, which included his own harem of island girls until 1697, when he was forced to flee to the American colonies after the local tribes discovered he had sold a group of natives as slaves. So he was the first to claim St. Mary's Island around 1685, and he became a prosperous pirate trader through the 1690s. He would supply the pirates with basics and trade the island's resources, cattle, and food for some of their plunder, which was shipped back to New York in return for more supplies. Since Adam Baldridge was the first to claim St. Mary's Island in 1685, he basically had a monopoly all to himself. And so pirates exchanged gold and other booty for the supplies they needed, and wine, for example, sold in St. Mary's for 15 times its New York price. Over the next 6 years, Baldridge built a lucrative business which he sold to Edward Welch in 1698. So I looked up Edward Welch, and there was nothing really important about him. So Adam Baldridge pretty much had a kingdom all to himself, well, up until he sold it. And speaking of kingdoms, if we go back to Thomas Tew, he is said to be the father of Ratsimilaho, a man who created a kingdom on the east coast of Madagascar. In addition, it has been claimed that Tew was one of the named founders of the mysterious and possibly fictional pirate colony of Libertatia, which, of course, I've spoken about many times before. So Ratsimilaho was a ruler of an east coastal region of Madagascar, and he is said to be the son of an English pirate, so Thomas Tew, and a Malagasy queen, Antavaratra Rahina. Malagasy being the ethnic group native to Madagascar, and what that means is that Thomas Tew got it in with the queen of Madagascar and had a son, and that son was named Ratsimilaho, and this Ratsimilaho made a kingdom on the east coast of Madagascar. So that's really interesting. I wonder if he's going to be in Uncharted 4 at all or anything, but we'll see how it all goes. Alright, so now we are on the bottom of the right page of Nathan Drake's journal, and we have some Latin. It says, Pro Deus quod ligentia. So I tried to translate this into English, and without any capital letters, it just says God for that belief. But once I change the ligentia L to a capital L, it turns to for God is intelligent. But if I change the pro P to capital and the D from Deus to a capital, and then the ligentia L to no caps, it turns to for God is intelligence. So I'm not exactly sure what the exact literal translation to English is, but I'm guessing it's pretty much around I believe in God, or God is omniscient or omnipotent, and so it's just all in that ballpark. I was not able to find Pro Deus quod ligentia quoted anywhere, so I have no idea where it comes from. I couldn't find the origin of it, so if you guys find that, please make sure to type it down in the comments, because that's what cool people do. Okay, so this concludes my analysis. I would like to thank you guys very much for watching and putting up with me for over 17 minutes of me just going on about a history lesson over a video game. But yeah, I'm really excited for Uncharted 4. I can't wait to see new stuff. I'm definitely going to be making more analyses once more info and videos come up. And so stay tuned for that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. And I was going to add in a second part to this where I was going to dissect the gameplay and, you know, pick out little details that I really enjoyed about the gameplay itself. But I feel that that has already been dissected by the entire Uncharted community already. And it would just be kind of redundant if I were to add to that. And so I'm just going to stick to the history side of things. I'm not really going to comment on the gameplay. All I'm going to say is that I was very impressed. I really liked it. And yeah, that's about it. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.